What is going on, guys? The All Gaming with my review on the七つの大罪or 7 Deadly Sins episode 11. And this episode right here, it was freaking amazing. We had some pretty good fights, and then at the end though, it kind of died down because that Meliodas versus Cain fight, that right there wasn't a real battle because not only did he give up, but his attacks really did not do that much damage, except, burning close a little bit. But the first two, now we all know Diane versus Meliodas, that right there was definitely the highlight of the episode because their fight, it was definitely hype. But Diane and Hauser, they also cannot be slept on because Diane actually did pretty well, and we see now just how tuned in she can be with the Earth at the time because what she did to win, that right there, it was freaking awesome. But the episode itself, it starts off now with our first battle, which is Diane versus Meliodas, and we once again have this like little glimpse of their past, and we see now that like in another situation, very similar to this, they actually fought once before, and this right here is where Diane is where he was in prison. And so we see now that with Meliodas, when he went there, we learn now that they tried to kill him, I believe over 30 times, but of course, it never worked because he is immortal. But we see now that when one of the guards said that he was not human, we have Meliodas. He was saying that Ban was the same. So that right there is definitely a very strong hint at what Meliodas really is, because if Meliodas is not human, then what is he? Because we do see that during that fight, once again, like a great power comes out, and that right there is how he won. But we see now that when they first met, I guess, we have Meliodas wanted Ban to like leave this prison cell, I guess you could call it, but Ban would not do that because he was like so tired of him, always trying to kill him. But we see now that when Meliodas wanted him to, and Ban would not listen, he had no choice but to use force. And Ban here was like acting very arrogant because he was saying that like just because he's a kid, he will not hold back. But obviously, Ban definitely lost because not only did Meliodas make him leave, but he also made him go through a wall. And so now we see that Ban here, this like great excitement, it actually woke up within him, and that right there, like made him want to fight Meliodas again. But the only way for him to do that is for Ban to actually, follow him and leave with him. And we see now that right there is kind of how like Ban joined the 7 Deadly Sins. But we see now, like back in the present time, their fight now, they were actually pretty even for the most part. We see now, they were throwing blows for blows. And we see that, even though they were on equal footing, Ban here definitely had, an advantage. Because even though when Meliodas, has all this power and he's stronger, he can still get hurt. But Ban here, every injury he gets, it heals almost instantly, if not, a few seconds later. So that right there is a major advantage, for him. But we see that while their fight was going on, we have Ban using his power or ability, which is called Snatch or Thief, and that right there allows him to steal the powers or the attributes of his opponents. And so we see now first, not only was he taking, Meliodas' speed, but he also took his strength as well. And even though, he was like taking his strength, Meliodas, was like still getting fighting. And so we see now that even though Ban took all this power, at one point they were still, fighting so equally. But it seems like, like when their fists collided, you just see Ban hand and arm breaking. That right there, I'm not gonna lie, that right there made my arm hurt. I'll be serious here because that right there looks so freaking painful. But we see now that at one point, Ban here took all the power of Meliodas. And we see now that he was on the ground, but he would not give up. And we have all the others saying, telling him to stop this because this right here was going, way too far. But obviously, obviously Ban, he would not listen. But then we have him, hitting then we have him hitting Meliodas, with their powers combined. And you would think that right there might take Meliodas out, but to our surprise here, Ban was the one that actually got wrecked, because we see now that after the dust has settled, we have Meliodas standing in the ring, and we have Ban, he got launched off somewhere, and you see him now, and we see him now pounded into the grave, man. And so now we see that King and Diane, they definitely know something was up with that, and Diane saw everything. And so we learn now that when Ban did hit him, that attack right there, it definitely did some damage. But at the same time, but at the same time, that force, it awakened Meliodas hidden power, I guess you could say, because once again he had that mark appear on his head. And not only did he crush, Ban's wrist, but when he punched him once, you just see all the holes in his body. And so obviously, he had, lost after that, because Ban, he was outside the ring. And so now it was time for the other fight, which was Hauser versus Diane. But we see now that the Princess Veronica, she was around looking for Elizabeth, and obviously, she cannot find her, because right now she is so small, and she was hidden, and she was hidden between, some boobs. But we see now that there was just one guy they keep focusing on, and he just one character that has green hair. And we see now that he was out shopping for books, but we see that this merchant, he had wanted the guy to hurry up, because he knew that the semifinals were going on, and he had wanted to watch it. But after the princess and that muscle guy, after they had split up, because they obviously, they can't find her, we do learn that this fighting festival, it is definitely a setup made by the Holy Knights, which is why, we have them there, because right now they want to lure out, the Seven Deadly Sins, but they also want Diane as well. But now we see that when Diane and Hauser, when they start fighting, we see that off the bat, Hauser here, he was a gentleman, because he was warning, Diana about her top, even though she didn't mind it, but he cannot focus if his eyes were distracted. But we see that the Hauser, he was definitely even though he was on the offensive, he was definitely holding back, because he did not want to hurt a woman, even though he knew that she was really strong. So he is definitely a gentleman, and we see now that his wind powers, they are pretty impressive. But also, Diane, she is definitely, up there as well, because once again, she is definitely one of the stronger characters in the verse, because she is a member of this Seven Deadly Sins. So even though Hauser was impressive, Diane could definitely handle him. And even when he brought out his best trick, which is these twin cyclones, he also brought out his I guess you can say his ultimate attack, which is the super cyclone. But even that was not enough, because we see that Diane, she was definitely lifted into the air, but she made her body turn as heavy as metal, and she fell on him, and that right there took him out. I'm almost surprised, because that right there has to be heavy, even though right now she is the regular size of a person. Having that much metal following you, I'm surprised this guy did not die from that, but he did lose though. And so now we see that one more fight had to happen, because that right there would actually determine who were going for the finals, and that right there would be Meliodas versus Cain, the old man. And so now we see that when they start fighting this old man, he thought that Meliodas might actually be, he actually thought it was impossible for this guy to be the real Meliodas, so he thought that right there was his son. But that right there was not the case at all, because that right there was the real deal. And when this old man, found that out, he actually, he set off. And now we see this guy was pretty much a firebender, because he was throwing these fireballs at Meliodas, but at the same time we have Meliodas taking him, and we see that the reason why this guy was so upset, because he thought all this time Meliodas was the one who actually destroyed his kingdom where they all used to serve. And we also learned that Elizabeth, she was also born in this kingdom, so that right there, is another thing that even though it seems so small, it is definitely, you know, a big deal. But now we see that there was this girl named Elizabeth. I mean, no, named Liz, that Meliodas tried to protect, but he failed. And that right there was a sin, because not only did she die, but that entire kingdom was like wiped out as well. And that right there is a sin that he must carry for the rest of his life. But now he has changed, and he will make sure to protect everyone now. And when Cain here, you know, like really wonder if he mean those words, when he find out, you know, that Meliodas will like tell him the truth, he actually, you know, like have a change of heart, and we see him now, you know, kind of make up, and that right there was nice. And we see that their fight, you know, it ended because he actually gave up, because obviously now he has no reason, you know, to fight him if he knows, you know, what happened, you know, what the mistake. And the rumors, you know, were not true at all. So that right there was nice, but I do wonder, you know, how long will it be before we get the entire backstory of this kingdom? Because right now it is definitely a major plot point, and that right there, you know, it reveals so freaking much. That's why I kind of wonder, you know, how long will it be, because I would love for you all to see it, because like I've been saying, I'm a manga reader, so I definitely know, you know, what's going to happen, but I just wonder, you know, how long will it be, because I have no idea where the anime will end, because there are just so many possibilities where they can. But now we see that, like, after he gave up, it was time for the final match, which was, you know, Diane versus, you know, Meliodas. But we see that Ban here, Ban is a dick, because he had paid these girls off to pretend that, like, Meliodas, you know, had slept with them. And that right there, you know, has set Diane off, because she had punched him right into the ground. And we see him now with like his top half, you know, like now in this hole. So obviously, you know, right now Diane is pissed, and she will definitely not hold back, because she gets jealous quite easily. But we see that at the end of the episode, we have Gulia, Jericho, and this one other weirdo, kind of like a character. Excuse me, kind of like a character that could be a part of the weird things, because like even though we did not get a close up, he didn't have on some kind of like weird armor, because I do believe it was like an orangish color. But then we have this green hair guy. Once again, he was actually reading a book to this man in armor, and we see this armor, it now belongs to Gauther. Hopefully I'm saying his name right, but that right there, you know, it had revealed something huge, because obviously they are going around looking for the sins, and right now, you know, we see somebody with the armor one, and obviously, you know, like somebody is in there, so you would think that right there, you know, is Gauther. But the episode itself, you know, because that right there is where it ended, but the episode itself, it was good. I definitely enjoyed it. Like, we got a ton of action, and we got some comedy as well, and we have, you know, Meliodas being a beast with that power of his, and now we have a jealous Diane about to go on a rampage. So that right there should definitely be very interesting, you know, for next week. But for the episode itself, I'm going to give it probably an 8 out of 10. But I would love to get your guys' thoughts on this. But as always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because that really helps me out. And you guys take it easy. And I will see you all next time.